before the empire of planeswalkers.
That's right. Yes. I was so glad that Time Spiral Remastered had no planeswalkers.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
glad they thought enough to do that.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Time Spiral if there were, but I'm really bitter. We're all missing our friends. We're missing hanging out, so we get to do this virtual Magic. But I would love to get a team draft with some Time Spiral remastered packs. I really love Time Spiral. Even back then, it was a callback to a bunch of stuff, and now you just get to like a double nostalgia.
Yeah, right. No, I know, it's so cool. Well, first of all, I mean, have you gotten any of the product?
No, I haven't, because I've been too lazy to actually drive to my local store and pick it up. So
I ordered some singles, and they look great. They look great. They feel great. They even smell great. Like, it's amazing how much better the old border just like it resonates. But yeah, I haven't been able to find a pack anywhere. I just saw someone posted in the Austin Magic group that the Targets regionally have picked up some, and I don't have a game store exactly local to me, but hopefully we'll get a couple packs of it at some point. Just get that experience of opening it.
Okay, well, so for tonight's entertainment, we're going to start us off here. Who do we have in who's behind door number 3?
Well, we've got Tweety with the Mr. T mat, and we've got Alan with the Mishra's Workshop mat. And I do not know what they're playing. I looked at the decks, but I forgot to internalize who was assigned to each deck.
Okay, so I'm caught up on all of that. So Tweety on the left here, he's playing a sweet combo rock deck. He's got the classic rock hallmarks of Blast Disruption, like Cabal Therapy and Duress. He's got Pernicious Deed to control the board. And where it gets interesting, he's got an Entomb package for Nether Spirit, Entomb for Random Fatty plus Reanimate.
That's right. So he's playing the same deck he's playing in the last league. Okay.
Yeah, he's got that. On the other side, we've got Alan, who's also playing some sweet green stuff. He's playing Turbo Oath. So he's got a classic degenerate card, Oath of Druids, which basically says your opponent can't play creatures.
Yeah. Which is... Right. Well, I think this could be an interesting match. Brian has played Turbo Oath.
Yeah.
Before, so he knows how to, what to do. But yeah, if that Oath hits the table.
So Brian's got outs. Pernicious Deed is like one of the best spells in the format. It's a catch-all. It can blow up the Oath that Alan plays. Alan's other engine is an artifact, Horn of Greed. So every time he plays a land, and that's symmetric because old cards work that way.
Yep.
So each player, whenever they play land, you draw a card. And Alan has Exploration, so he can abuse that even more. But these things are all things that Pernicious Deed blows up. So usually in game 1, if you have like a really silly artifact or enchantment running around, you might get to keep it. But Pernicious Deed is just going to say no to that. Not to mention Tweety could just make Alan discard those cards.
Yeah. Duress is going to be big here. Duress hitting Oath is going to be pretty big.
Right.
I'm just looking at Alan's creature package here.
He's got that classic stuff. He's got the Spike Weaver Fog Engine to lock out combat. He's got Morphling to attack, and I think Spike Feeder as well. So this is like the classic. Oh, here's that Duress.
Yep. And it's going to see an accumulated knowledge and a time warp and 5 lands.
All right. So I'm curious to know if Alan knew what Tweety was playing. Like, if you know what Tweety is playing, this hand is perfectly keepable because Tweety's not going to do anything very quickly. And you just want to make a bunch of lands and draw good cards off the top. So you see this weird card, this Time Warp. Alan's deck has this end game where he can infinitely Time Warp thanks to Gaia's Blessing and Scroll Rack and some other stuff.
Oh, that's how it works. He was missing the Battlefield Scrounger, which is what I thought because I knew he had the Time Warps. And I was looking for the Battlefield Scrounger, but you're right. He can loop Gaia's Blessing and Scroll Rack. Someone did this to me, and it was miserable once I figured out what was going on.
Yeah,
but I was actually dead.
It takes a while to get going, and it will require these permanents to stick around in play for a while, like Exploration of Horn of Greed to get his engine online. But once it gets going, Tweety will be in some trouble. So the onus is on Tweety, I think, to end the game before the engine takes off. Oh, here's a good hit. We've got Treetop Village. So if your opponent plays this card, Oath of Druids, and Oath is going to trigger if your opponent has creatures in play during your upkeep. Well, Treetop Village allows you to have creatures, but not have them in play to trigger the oath. So the Treetop Village beats could be very real because the blue-green oath deck has no like doom blades. Like it can't just blow up.
Yeah, so he therapied and named Oath. He must have named Oath.
Yeah, for sure he named
because
Oath.
he didn't name the Time Warp. And he had to gush, and then of course, thanks
No
to
justice.
the shuffler bug,
Moto
Alan
bug.
just drew the Oath right off the top.
Yeah, it's a problem with disruption. You can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck. That expression doesn't exist because there's no Thoughtseize in this format, but you can't Cabal Therapy the top of the deck either.
That's they've made cards now where it's like you look at their hand and they discard a card and then you like exile the top card of their library or something. Now I feel like that's almost like just to like get rid of it. So Brian's gonna play a 3-mana spell here. And it is a Pernicious Deed. So that
all right, Pernicious Deed is big game. Basically, nothing's going to happen for a turn, and then we'll just get to keep playing Magic. So Pernicious Deed's a big problem because Brian doesn't have to crack it right away. He can. I was
going to say definitely can't, or it doesn't have to.
Yeah, he can wait for Alan some more cards if he knows it's an Alan deck. Then you can wait for him to play the Exploration or the Horn of Greed. So. You can milk this for all the value it's worth while you're clocking in for some damage with the Treetop Village, which is great when your opponent's deck is full of counter spells.
Another thing he can do is if he gets a creature into play, like a small creature, he can actually flashback therapy, to get a look at the hand.
Yeah, that's another thing
because he doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't have to keep the creature in play for the oath.
Yeah, you could blow up your own creatures to therapy, or if you're playing like mono red, you would start sacking your Mog Fanatic to like blow up your own guys so they wouldn't trigger the oath. It's a sad story, but it happens. All right, Tweety's coming in for 3 with the Treetop Village, putting him on the clock, and there's not much that blue green can do about this. It's not a removal color. I'm gonna check to see if he's got fogs. Got access to fog in the deck.
He does not. Oh, he's got the Spike Weaver.
Yeah, Spike Weaver makes fog. Sometimes there's Moment's Peace in these decks, but I'm not seeing that here.
I'm telling you, Moment's Peace is a really good card.
I'm a big fan of Moment's Peace.
I've been playing it, and it's just like
there's
an Entomb.
Entomb. So what are we getting here? This is exciting.
Well, he has like Visara the Dreadful.
I don't know if he has
anything else. Oh, Nether Spirit.
Yeah, so you get Nether Spirit, and you can sack it to the therapy, and then you can blow up the deed to get rid of the oath and start attacking for 5 Nether Spirit plus Treetop.
This is really good timing, and it's sort of under. It's not like it's like an off the radar play, but by doing this now, you make him, if he wants to cash in that gush, return 2 islands, and instead of letting him play a 5th land and just naturally tap it out.
Yeah.
So if he goes, but he didn't bring it back. Oh, he did bring it back. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I don't think that you're gonna cast Gush in response to this therapy here. Like that really sets you back unless this last card is like Summer Bloom or something. But we'll find out. We'll find out what the players do here.
Do we know what the players' records are? Are they both 3-1?
I believe they're 3-1.
Okay. What's your record?
I didn't play.
Oh, you didn't play. Okay.
Yeah. My record is didn't invest in Bitcoin is regretting life.
Yeah, right. My record is 2-2. I was 0-1, then I was 2-1, and now I'm 2-2.
What did you play, if we can inquire?
Oh, I played Squirrel Bombardment.
Ooh, Squirrel Bombardment. With like Enduring Renewal or just
No, just like straight up squirrels with Goblin Bombardment, and then like. Is he gonna? Oh no, he's naming Gush with therapy.
Okay, yeah. So the Gush is gone. And what is the mystery card? Oh,
Undiscovered Paradise.
We get to find out. Okay, cool beans. So yeah, we just got a bunch of lands. Like we might cast this like Time Walk later. I don't know.
I wonder if he just cashes it in now to like try and find something.
I think there's obviously more exploitative ways to cast it. Like the goal was to get to the next turn, and then you could float 2 mana, Gush, and then cast Time Walk to not really lose any mana, But I think you just got to cast it. You're about to be taking 5 damage a turn. It's time to get something going.
Well, Tweety doesn't. He's not going to let him oath. Oh yeah, because he can deed it away. I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah.
See, I had a plane right into that D with the scroll rack. but he's probably actually going to look for some stuff. This is just a.
All right, scroll rack. Well, I mean, if your hand's a bunch of lands, you know, it'd be great with scroll rack gush, but we lost the gush, so that kind of sucks. It's still not terrible, but yeah, now Tweety gets to get the 2-for-1 off the deed. Everything's kind of coming up his way, unless
this is actually tight play by Alan, I think, because you know, like you got to look for something now. This is kind of a turn where you got to do something.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
That scroll rack isn't doing anything in your hand.
Yeah, we need to get something going on.
But here comes an Entomb, perhaps for a second therapy. You can go for second therapy. You can go for Visara.
Visara doesn't seem terrifically relevant.
It just closes the game faster.
That's true. That's true.
Gets you to dead.
So we'll see what lurks in the graveyard here.
He did get another therapy.
Yeah, so he just gets another therapy. So
I just looked over to. Sorry.
I think you'd probably just name Oath because you're about to blow up this Oath with the deed, and you just want to make sure there's not another Oath lurking in the hand. That would be my guess as to what to name with this therapy.
Especially since you know his top cards are all lands.
That too. Yeah, I mean, if it's like Brainstorm with no shuffle effects. The scroll rack's a little anemic because you only get to look one deeper each time.
Well, if he was able to untap it, he would be in better shape. But
yeah,
so he's gonna find out what's in his hand. And I wonder if it is an accumulated knowledge. So he's going to get the draw 2.
An accumulated knowledge would be sweet here. That's like, all right. Yeah, accumulated knowledge.
I think I might be a little bit ahead of you on the feed. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I need like one more monitor or something.
He's got 2 dazes and a counter spell and 4 force of will. So yeah, this is going to resolve. Whiffed on the Oath.
All right, so we've got Summer Bloom, a card so good it's banned in Modern. There's no Primeval Titans here, but this classic card will allow you to put 3 extra lands into play, which really pays off if you've got your Horn of Greed or if you've cast Gush, you can just put all the lands back. By itself, it doesn't do anything terrifically exciting. So, yeah, we've got the classic problem of a bunch of like quick mana and no real payoffs, and we know that the top couple of cards are more lands. So this really could be it.
If you're Tweety, I think you just kind of make him. What's he at 12?
Yeah.
The problem is I don't think Tweety has a 5th land. He doesn't have a 5th land to activate Deed for 2.
Well, he doesn't have to activate it. Well, no, I guess you might want to stop the scroll racks. That's pretty reasonable. Yeah. We don't want to scroll rack again.
Oh, he had another treetop village. So actually, let's see. If he draws another green source, he can just it's 2 turns, and there's really nothing Alan can do.
All right, so we play
Exploration. Yep.
We play these extra lands that don't really do anything just yet.
Gets you another spirit. He's gonna if he has you draw it. Yep, there it is. That's 2, 5, 8.
8 damage. So this is.
Oh, it's not. The Nether Spirit doesn't have haste. It's not another shadow. Okay. Next turn.
So anyway, next turn. So we need to draw like AK to draw 3 cards into a bunch of action.
But we know he's not going to.
Or we know he's not going to. Like if Spike Weaver was there. Okay,
oh my God! Oath. He hide the Oath.
Wow.
He must have hid the Oath.
That is. Yeah. We still just clock in for lethal because the Oath won't trigger. Okay. So, yeah, still had all these Oaths. Died. All right. So
we've got. Yeah.
I don't think either player has anything really exciting in their sideboard available to them. Let me take a look.
Looking at Alan's sideboard, because I don't have Tweety's list, he has 3 back to basics. That might be.
Back to basics is kind of exciting. He's got
2
another
misdirection.
Misdirection doesn't do anything because duress is worded in this goofy way.
Oh, that's right. It's an opponent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see 2 more future sites. I wonder if does he transform into something like that?
Future sight is just a really powerful grindy card in long games. So I could see that coming in. And Morphling is just like against decks that have a bunch of thought seizes, you just want individually powerful cards for you to top deck. and you want to move away from synergy because the Thoughtseize decks are so good at breaking up your synergy. So some of these cards like Summer Bloom and Exploration, these are synergy cards, but your synergies just like aren't going to get online. So you want more like individually powerful cards in that situation. Tweety's sideboard, he has an Oath package in his sideboard, which is clearly completely irrelevant. So I don't think he might have like some disenchants in his sideboard, naturalizes. Sorry, folks, but he's not going to have a lot that's terrifically exciting. Let me see if I can find his list. I had it at some point. You might have like Tormod's Crypt. You can crypt it like if they trigger the Oath, but his deck is so good at stopping the Oath in the first place. I don't even know if that's really a big deal.
I mean, this is really going to be kind of a story about mulliganing, right? Because he's got to have Treetop Village. That's clearly his best threat.
Yes, Treetop Village, and then like Entomb for the Nether Spirit, which is only exciting if you have a bunch of Cabal therapies. Just playing a random like Gray Ogre is not that exciting in the context of the matchup.
Well, he's got the reanimate package, but I mean,
yeah, we have a lot exciting to bring in terms of his sideboard. An important thing to note is we saw Alan draw some extra cards, but Tweety has like what might be the most broken card in all of middle school. He has Necropotence in his deck. So even going long, since Alan is very unlikely to pressure Tweety's life total, Tweety has some extremely powerful options available to him. So.
All right. You know, I had thought of topics to talk about during the shuffling, and I forgot all of them just now. When I was out, I was just grabbing dinner for my family before I came in.
Right.
They've all just vanished out of my head.
Well, I mean, you know, we don't see a lot of shuffling because there's no live magic. It's almost, it brings me back, you know.
I know, right? It is funny how that works. Like, I mean, doing the coverage on these events this way is also really different than doing live event coverage in the past anyway, because people are at home and everything like that. But yeah, it's been a long time since you just had the classic, like, you know, two people sitting at a table and then two commentators, you know, in some other area watching
right.
it.
And getting people like actually get into like Railbird. Now they can Railbird in the chat. So I really hope that Alan brings in these Future Sights, because fun fact, Future Sight is actually my favorite card in all of Magic.
Really?
Yes. I get very impatient playing games, and I love knowing what the top card of my deck is at all times. And I love
you play such dirtily decks.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get impatient?
Because you always want to know, you know?
Yeah.
And Future Sight lets you do that. And there's like goofy combos with like Sensei's Divining Top, which is like another of my favorite cards because I love seeing the top card of my deck. I mean, I guess the more powerful Future Sight is Citadel of Bolas, but you only play that when you have like Tinker.
Yeah.
No, paying 5 mana for Future Sight, that's a steep cost. And I'll be honest, I think like the one or two times I've done it in a real game, I played it and then like died to choke the following turn. So
what, Future Sight, you mean?
Yeah, I paid like 5 mana to play Future Sight, and then my opponent like played choke, so I just like couldn't play any of the spells on top of my deck. I was like, this is a nightmare. So that's what I get for putting these, you know, little kid cards into my deck.
Well, Future Sight's a sweet card though. Like,
yeah, Future Sight is super sweet. So yeah.
And those cards like always get better. No one's done the futures. Didn't he just? Oh, he must have mulliganed.
Oh no, Mulligan is against Thoughtseize bad times.
They're not Thoughtseizes, they're Duresses. So.
Yeah, whatever.
Of course, Duress is pretty much as good as Thoughtseizes in this matchup. I'm forgetting that.
Yeah.
Because he's got 3 creatures.
Yeah.
And he's going to put whatever. The thing is, too, whatever, if he draws a creature in his opening hand, it's going to the bottom of his deck.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's an important thing to mention for, you know, viewers who may not know. Even though this is middle school, we're playing with a lot of modern rules. So we play with the modern Mulligan rule. There's no. Is there damage on the stack? Are we playing with that one at least?
We are playing with damage on the stack.
All right, there's damage on the stack. And the wishes
Dazed
work the way that was dazed. So, I mean, that daze implies that we're hiding an oath. Like, what else do we want to daze? You know,
See,
what else
this
would
is
we be
just
protecting?
yeah.
All
It's
right,
a
so
cabal naming oath.
yeah, we just name oath. You know, like something's going on.
Well, he clearly only has one oath. Did he bring in?
All right, what do we got here?
It was got a Hornigrade.
Horn of Greed. Ooh, okay. So this is sweet. You know, bouncing your lands back to your hand is a lot better, you know, after you play the Horn of Greed, but this still speaks to a plan. All right. So I definitely think we have to
so
play.
he whipped on oath. That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That was pretty.
Named oath.
That was a good play then by Alan. It turned out because he didn't have double duress. He just had. So now Tweety can't play a deed unless he just wants to walk it into days to get it out of there.
Yeah. Interesting.
He just played a land and attacked. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play the Horn of Greed because I guess we can like. Yeah, I would even have. Wait, am I missing something? Like, I feel like we should play the Horn of Greed.
Yeah, he's playing it. He's playing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that was
There you
Tweety. Tweety's turn was just really fast.
Okay.
He played the treetop village and then
All
he played the Land of War Waste
All
and
right.
attacked the treetop village.
And so yeah, but now the double check this card's symmetric because Nuke got away, and they're like, yeah, it's symmetric. Everybody's gonna draw a bunch of cards. So,
Yeah, but Tweety has played this card. I'm surprised he doesn't remember.
I don't know. That's my best guess.
Horn of Greed, 3-mana artifact. Whenever the player plays land, that player draws a card.
Right.
Oh, it has the same art from Stronghold and Conspiracy Take the Crown. It's only 2 printings. That's pretty cool.
Right,
of course, it looks like the Ark of the Covenant.
Necro. All right,
Oh,
you know it's better.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, we can't if we daze like Tweety pays. So
Well,
I feel
he
like
did
there
it.
might have.
He just dazed him to tap him out. Oh, he's force will pitching Future Sight.
Oh no! Everything is awful. I don't even want to watch this game anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Well, you know, I really wanted
engine.
Future Sight to be brought in, but I didn't want to just be like thrown away to Force of Will.
Wow, he's going for the undiscovered paradise.
All right, so undiscovered paradise. Like every time you use it, it bounces back. So at this point, he doesn't have so many lands that he wants to bounce the lands back. We've got the slow lightning bolt, treetop clock.
Yeah, that's a take 1 of return clock for Tweety 2 at the Land War else, which is or Land War Waste, I should say.
You're still winning the race. All right, play this land and draw some more cards. Man, big frowns about that Future Sight.
Well, he doesn't need to bounce it, the undiscovered paradise, to get other trigger, so he's not going to do that.
Yeah, I think you don't want to start bouncing your own lands back here until you have like 5 of them. I think so. A little bit behind here. We're gonna play some other land. Draw some more
forest.
cards.
Get to draw a card.
Right.
What he wants is a Summer Bloom. Like that's the card.
Summer Bloom would be sweet. Gush obviously would be good. But right now, like 3 turn isn't a lot. He's got like 5 turns, so you can afford to like get clocked a few times.
I got 7.
All right. So great thing about Horn of Greed is it basically turns the game into EDH, where everybody has like unlimited resources all the time because they're all like everyone's got Howling Mine at the very least. All right. So
you say that, but I think we get another. Are we getting another Necro? No, he would have tapped 3 swamps, right?
Yeah, something's going on. So
I think it's the deed.
Deed says, no one can have fun. Get out of here, random permanents. Call it the herd. All right. Okay. So that doubles the clock. So now it'll take 3 turns. So you got to start doing something about that.
Oh, but he only had one other green source besides Treetop Village.
What's happening now?
Pernicious Deed.
Pernicious Deed plus Call of the Herd is kind of a nombo because
this was interesting sequencing. I would have blown up the Horn of Greed and then played the Call of the Herd.
All right, come on, Turbo Bog, do some turbo.
It's not turbo. It's not very turbo tonight.
Yeah,
I guess his feeling is that he can just sit on this deed, and he's always got an extra 3/3.
All right, I get to duress. Let's see all the
duress.
lands.
What do you got? It's all lands, right?
All lands.
It's 100% lands. That was the only thing that could be happening because he would be playing any other card in his deck.
If only we had that future sight. Everything is awful. All right. Well, come on, Gush, one-time dealer, or like Scroll Rack. Scroll Rack could turn this hand into something useful.
I mean, this
is rough, man. All right, Alan's cashing in his one-time dealer.
Yeah. Another Hornet Greed. Draw 2.
So, how much mana is so? Tweety is short another green source to deal lethal next turn with both his treetops.
Oh, and he just didn't draw anything.
No.
Oh, that sucks. Phantom to Showbuzz in his hand.
All right. Well, didn't. Well,
that happens. We didn't see anything. Great.
I mean, that's the.
We're gonna see what he got. 2 back to base, 1 counter spell, 3rd back to base to naturalize.
Naturalize good. That's what happens.
Naturalize, I thought was weird though. Like I couldn't decide whether that was what he wanted.
I
guess against the Necro.
Well, against the Necro, they'll just draw the 7 cards. But the problem is they play Deed, and then you can't really do anything while Deed is in play, and because the way Deed works, there's no reason not to just run it up because you don't have to blow it up until later. So I can see situations where this Deed is in play, and you can disenchant the Deed and then play your cool permanents.
This is also kind of bullshit because when I played the Rock against Tweety playing Turboland, I just got ranched every time. When we were testing the format, that was 2 years ago now because we were in person. Guy would just get brained. I'd duress him and then he'd kill me. I'd duress him and then he'd kill me. So I guess he knows the answer now. Well, what do we got coming up? We have Stasis.
Our next match is about enchantments. And these are the undefeated players, by the way.
Oh my god.
And we've got Stasis in one bracket. It's really powerful. Magic doesn't make sense when all of your lands are lotus petals and all of your creatures are ball lightnings. This is an extremely powerful effect. And I think Stasis is really going to give the business to Enchantress because the Enchantress deck is all about playing a bunch of sorcery speed effects into Stasis, which is a 30 counter spells and some obnoxious enchantments. So,
the Stasis deck, does it have 30 counter spells? Let's look at it.
It has a lot. It has a lot.
This is by the way, this is in Earthcraft, Squirrel Nest Enchantress.
That is true.
So it's gonna make a ton of tapped creatures, which is not good against Enchantress. Where is the Stasis list?
Let me see here.
Found it. I got
it. Have it.
I had it.
There's a lot of counter spells.
Okay. We got 4 counterspell, 3 thwart, 4 force of will. Yeah, that's too many counterspells.
Yeah.
Does our Enchantress player in the sideboard though does have 3 City of Solitude? So
yeah, so City of Solitude, fun story, guys. Back before Teferi Time Raveler existed, we played City of Solitude, and it affected everybody. So no one could do anything during their opponent's turn, including activated abilities, which is something people forget about with City of Solitude. So yeah, there's a lot of Squirrel's Nest, Earthcraft.
Yeah, we gotta load everyone else up. Hey everyone, so we've got our next match pretty much ready to go on one side. The other player though had a previous commitment and can't be in for about 20 minutes. So I'm here with Woodrow and Rob, and we're going to talk about spoilers for the new set for cards that are not legal in middle school, because it is a topic that is related to Magic that we can start with. So maybe we should. I want to start with this because, like,
go ahead.
You know how they've gone like out of their way to be like it's not just a Harry Potter ripoff, but then like the last 2 days have just been like what I'm assuming is Quidditch, and I've only ever gotten 5 chapters into a Harry Potter book, and I've never seen a movie. But just by absorbing it over the past 20 years, I think I've figured out that that's a game. I just think it's so funny. I think they clearly thought it was going to go over better before.
Well, you've got me. I haven't been paying attention. Was there a specific Quidditch card that I should be looking for here?
They spoiled a stadium that's like on the campus of the wizard school, and now all the schools are like intercepting passes. Like all the cards are like, he fumbled the freaking mana, like ball, but it's like, but it's a ball of, it looks
magical
like a face. Yeah.
I'm finding it for you guys. There we go.
What did you put up?
Strixhaven Stadium.
Oh yeah, Strixhaven Stadium.
So that card is weird because it has the clause an opponent loses the game on it. It's a 3-mana artifact. It taps to add a colorless mana, and then when you do that, you put a point counter on it.
You get a rouge.
Yes, you get a point.
CFL.
And then the additional text reads as follows: whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, you remove a point counter, so you lose a point. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, you put a point counter on the stadium. So whenever you tap it, you get a point. Whenever your creature deals damage to an opponent, you get a point. Whenever your opponent's creature deals damage to you, you lose a point. And then it has the clause attached to the trigger for your creature dealing damage, so you have to have a creature actually deal damage. But if your creature deals damage and then it has 10 or more points on it, that player will lose the game that you dealt damage to. So if you put 10 counters on or 9 counters on it and then poke your opponent loses.
Yeah, I don't know. This card sucks. Probably.
Yeah. If you could like win the game just by tapping for mana to get the win, like that, there might be something there, because you could just literally do nothing and then win the game on accident. But no, because it doesn't untap itself. I was like, oh, if you put a power artifact on it, you just untap it. That doesn't work if it doesn't untap itself. Yeah, I just think it's funny that it's a stadium. I the whole gaming, like not gaming, but the like sport part of this became so funny to me just because they were making such great pains to make it not what it obviously is, which is just a huge riff on Harry Potter, which is, whatever. I think it's kind of lazy, but yeah, I'm gonna say that I feel like they have been a little lazy with these expansions of late. Like they're just going in and just using other intellectual property. I really liked it when Magic was a bit more generic and didn't have like explicit call outs. So I, because like we all liked Innistrad. Innistrad was super cool, and like Theros, the which is the Greek mythology one. That one was cool without as going as specific. I don't know. So
they're making too many cards. I mean, they put out like 10% of all cards in Magic's history in like the last 2 years because they like unique cards.
Yeah, we saw how that worked out.
Yeah.
Is that actually true? That's insane.
I saw that somewhere. It was like X% of Magic cards that come out since 2019. Wow. It's like 10%, which kind of makes sense. Like old school, the format old school, which is 1994, right? So you're talking like the first 4 expansions plus, the base set is really what you're talking about drawing on there.
Sure.
That's 900. That's under 1,000 cards.
That's true.
It's like Oh, wow. So it's like, so what they put out like twice that many unique cards per year between like, also, like, those expansions included Arabian Nights, Antiquities, and the Dark, which are all small expansions, right?
Yep.
And now every expansion is 200 and something cards. Like they've gotten away from small sets anyway, and they make all these other cards. So Yeah. So yes, I
Well-
did see that, but
I mean, it's definitely true because I can't keep track of all the cards that are coming out. I'm gonna play my grumpy old man card, but like when they had sets like Jumpstart, and then they have these commander sets. I literally have no idea what cards are in these sets until someone plays them against me. Like,
yeah.
it's not just me. Like when Jumpstart first came out, there's a stream where Brad Nelson was playing Arena, and someone played Muxus the Goblin against him, and he's like, "What does this card do?" And then he lost the game on the spot, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that's what this card does."
Because what it does is kill you like immediately.
Yeah,
That's what it does.
and I have to say, I'm pretty low on like the design on Muxus. Like, the restriction is you put a bunch of goblins in your deck, which was already a good thing. Like there are already like good goblin decks running around, and then instead of like goblins being this interesting game about like combat math and racing and like there's a lot of attrition when you played goblins just became, I will get to 6 mana and then you'll just die on the spot. So I found Muxus like to be kind of unfun.
Not even. I mean, in Legacy, that thing comes down off a Goblin Lackey. You're just dead. You just lose.
Well, at least all the guys like can't attack if it comes down on Goblin. Like they attack like the following turn. And honestly, in Legacy, typically when Goblin Lackey connected, you're probably
you're
losing
dead.
the game anyway. But Muxus was just like really dumb. I definitely haven't enjoyed the gameplay involving Muxus very much at all. So, But it's only really meaningful and historic.
Yeah, there are a couple of things I want to talk about that they've done in the set that are interesting. One is that they've got a lot of cheap removal. So they've got Vanishing Verse, which is white and a black for instant, exile target monocolored permanent. And they also have Fracture, which is white and a black for an instant that is a disenchant that also hits Planeswalkers, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or Planeswalker.
Yeah, these cards are pretty sick. And you have to think, like, whenever you have like good spells that are cheap, like both of these cost like 2 mana, you have to think, how good are these cards with Snapcaster Mage in all the formats? And so these could definitely be a pretty big deal, like in Modern, because right now people are playing Esper, and they've got like Esper Charms and like Kaya's Guile, for example, and they're playing Eliminate. So instead of playing Eliminate, you can play these cards here. And get like a big step up. So these cards are good. Like I don't in Modern anyway, you won't see them as 4-ofs, but in Standard these cards are great. And as long as the mana allows, then these are definitely 4-of cards. I'm sure there'll be some sort of black-white, possibly black-white, blue, black-white, green, like mid-range or control deck. These are really powerful effects.
Well, to me, it feels like they made some sort of decision about removal after for years really sort of tamping it down. But like the past few years, like Eliminate, I thought Eliminate saw play in Legacy. Saw play in Legacy. Now it's actually ironically seeing less play because it only hits 3 or Planeswalkers that are 3 or less. But Oko's been banned. There was another card that I wanted to talk about for this removal point that I cannot find, which leads me to believe it's in some other language.
What does it do?
It's 3 and a black, and it's exile target creature or Planeswalker. But you can cast it for 1 and a black, and if you do, the controller of that card gets to draw a card.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna find it. Put on the stream here.
Usually,
Dominios Sinestro, Sinister
usually
Dominance.
Cards that allow your opponent to make a choice are not great.
Well, it's no. You make the choice. You either cast it for 4, and it just straight up works the thing, or you pay 1 and a black. Your opponent gets to draw a card, and you exile the thing, which I think is actually still good. I know it sounds bad, but like, first of all, like if there's something you've got to kill on the spot and you want to exile it because you don't want it to go to their graveyard, I mean, what's a card? If it's the choice of giving them a card or you dying, and then in any long game, you're just gonna whack it for for 4. Just like
I played Standard when like Vraska's Contempt was like the best removal spell available, and all of us were definitely very frustrated by 4 mana. It made it very hard to turn the corner because even the things, the expensive things you wanted to kill would be like 4 mana Chandra was in that format, and so you're always spending as much or more mana to kill the thing. You got this kind of buyback of 2 life. So with this thing, you can pay cheaper, but giving your opponent a card, if you're on some sort of attritional strategy, definitely that's a very real cost. So I'm going to say I'm not feeling it. Like both of the costs on this card, either 4 mana for this effect or the giving your opponent a card, those are some pretty heavy costs, and I couldn't see myself being very happy to put this into my deck, even in standard.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of think like I'm only casting this for 1 and a black if I'm gonna die. Otherwise, so like that's a thing that matters. It's funny you're mentioning standard. I usually think about these things for legacy or vintage. So I tend to play older formats, but I actually, because they released. Actually, let me just reset. We're waiting for our next middle school match to start in about maybe 10-15 minutes. As our second match is just waiting for player to.
All right. Well, so we got to stop here on the meme card. Blade Historian. Attacking creatures you control have double strike. Step 1, this is a human. 4 mana is a lot, but you might play it in modern. I doubt it. 4 mana is too much.
You're never playing this card.
But
he studied the blade. Yeah,
you do get to say, I studied the blade when you
this
put
is
this guy
the
to the red
funniest satire set they have ever put out.
Yeah.
So this is an actual satire set, and every unset is just like cringy. But this is actually funny satire of being in school, of Harry Potter, of magic itself. It's a funny satire.
And
it's
then
like
they took the color pie, mixed it all up with it, so it really is just silly and weird.
Yeah, they have a lot of multicolor cards that are kind of fringing around the color pie. But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't even know what the color pie means anymore.
It means that white sucks. And
white's always been bad, okay? Like, the good white cards were like Armageddon and Balance. Like, those weren't really cards that we want to bring back.
I'm gonna find my favorite meme card so far. It is a bat. Where is it?
I'm telling you, man.
Okay.
Giant bat!
So it is... this may just be the translation, but it's called Bat Eye.
Oh, and Bat Eye.
When Bat Eye dies, learn. And I think that is a hilarious rules text. That is actual rules text. When Bat Eye dies, learn. You don't get a choice. You have to learn. So it's like you dissect this Bat Eye and you learn from that. There's your class dissection.
Hey, I'm going to say that this Bat Eye looks an awful lot like the flying bats in Zelda.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
I can see that.
There's a lot of stuff in this set that's just like kind of cribbed from other stuff.
It's a little campy.
When Bat Eye dies, learn.
Yeah.
So it's does anyone speak enough Spanish to know
well, I know Vuela is flying, but
what it says? Creature bat? Is that how you say bat?
It says Ojo is eye.
Yeah, so it's like literally is it bat eye?
It's a I bet maybe.
I bet.
Oh wow.
Yeah, murciélago is Spanish for bat. So this, what? We got to make a
bat eye. Murciélago. It is
Congress
actually
Avenue
just
bridge thing.
bat eye. Wow.
It's literally just bat eye, and then the creature type is bat eye because it's literally what it is. But there are eyes. Yes. Yeah. There
Evil
are
eye.
eyes.
So chat is saying it could be evil eye. Maybe.
Evil eye.
No, evil eye is an eye. That's what he's saying. But the evil eye of Ormsby-Gore, which is a real card that exists.
All right, hold on a second.
Especially in old school.
I'll be back.
Who's vacuuming?
Woodrow is vacuuming. Well, that's okay. So anyway, this is like I said, one of my favorite meme cards. I
hadn't even seen this.
I like the rules text. When Bat Eye dies, learn. Like, you don't have a choice. You will learn from this experience.
Can you find the card Novice Dissector? Which is literally a guy dissecting a Bat Eye.
Oh my gosh,
I did not
seriously?
put this together. And then it says if you sacrificed another creature, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Which means that it's black. It's 3 and a black. It's April 1st, which is today.
Okay.
Looks like third or fourth row down. Here. 3, 4, 5 rows down.
Okay. Black card that dissect the Bat Eye. Where are you?
Scroll all the way up. I can't believe it's
go,
actually you picked up on this, and then they just spoon fed it to you.
Wow, this is hilarious.
Because that's what he's got there, right? It looks like the big eye.
It looks. I'm gonna just say it is, because why wouldn't I want to?
Do you?
Only as a sorcery. Yeah. Okay.
Do you think that at Strixhaven there's like an Apple IIe, and like if you don't want to dissect the Bat Eye because you're vegan, you just get the 5.5 inch floppy disk.
Yep.
And you get to do the fake Bat Eye dissection.
fun fact, I was looking for perfect numbers using an Apple IIe like a zillion years ago, and the integers will overflow at 2 to the 37th power.
Jeez.
That's hilarious.
I used an Apple II recently at the toy museum that's in Austin.
Oh, hey, yeah, I've been there.
They have like an Oregon Trail computer set up, so I called my kids over. I was like, "This is like what I did in school on a computer," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we have iPads in school, and we have like." Yes, I was the one that tweeted out that Weird Owl that lets you cast stuff for free, but sometimes for 8. Ian, thank you. This stupid card.
I'm gonna look for a card that I want to talk about as far as like power creep goes.
Okay.
It's called Pop Quiz.
Pop Quiz, hot shot.
Oh my god! What do you do?
I believe it's So Pop Quiz. Okay, so it's 2 colorless, 1 blue. So it's like divination. It's an instant speed. You can draw a card and then you can learn. So it's essentially, you either instant speed divination or instant speed draw a card and then loot. And it's even a little bit better than divination in a sense because you can tutor a card because you're learning, right? So you grab a card that's good from...
You grab the lessons. You can grab lessons if you learn.
Yeah.
So like if they
from
print
your sideboard.
like decent lessons, I mean, how good is that like compared to like your standard divination, right? As like your standard card draw spell. It's instant speed and you kind of get to pick a card.
Hot shot. The bus is going. Hold on. Wait, was it speed with the pop quiz?
Speed. Whoa.
Pop quiz, hot shot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes.
So honestly, Pop Quiz has been a long time coming because we've had to do like some crappy stuff with divination as a sorcery for a long time now. And it always struck me as really weird that to draw like 2 cards at instant speed required like inspiration or something. So
think twice. Think twice because you pay 5.
Think Twice was great.
Think Twice is a great card.
Everybody loved Think Twice. That card was quality. So this is pretty sweet. We have to examine the rest of the lessons. I recall them all being kind of specific and a little bit overcosted. But the ability to like tutor is not to be overlooked. Being able to tutor is always really powerful.
You instant speed. Okay, then you get a lesson. And like there are not a ton of great lessons. You can grab one from your sideboard.
Yet.
What are some lessons? There's like a lesson that's a preordain. They all a bunch of them make tokens. Like so you can basically just like end of turn, like I'll cycle this and then make a guy next turn.
There were some colorless lessons. There's a mythic lesson that makes like 8 power, but it costs 7, so that's kind of whatever. There is one that you can deal damage to something or destroy an artifact, which is a decent for 3, I think.
Yeah, but it's like a flare that also destroys an artifact.
It's
all
not
right,
great, but
so
like, you get to
we're
tutor
just
the
talking
card.
about power creep. Wait, go back to the Merfolk Wizard guy. All right, so here's power creep in the other direction. This is power like
which Merfolk Wizard guy?
There's one. He's blue, obviously. The point was he's a Merfolk.
Oh, Dustin's here. Dustin's on.
You had to pay mana to loot. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but he's got 3 toughness. Never mind. I'd much rather have 3 toughness. Yeah, I'd pay mana to loot for 2 extra toughness every time. Wouldn't hesitate. We gotta block these gray ogres that are coming into the red zone with our soothsayer adepts.
All the gray ogres just draw a card. Anyway, so I think we actually do have almost everyone. We have our 2 players on the line now, so we're just waiting for Dustin to be ready, but we'll be back.
Yeah, what we're doing here, like talking about these cards, I promise you, once we get the match underway and people get locked out of the game and nothing happens for a long time, and the game is possibly decided by deck out, you'll be wish we were going back.
Yeah, you'll wish we were doing rips. We were just doing a bit, bits about like being at college.
Yeah, talking more about speed.
Quiz.
Keanu Reeves' incredible career. I just rewatched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. That movie holds up.
All right, well, we'll be back, guys, with our match, and we'll see you shortly.
All right. All right, so thanks to
Oh, okay.
everyone
I
for
think it was
hanging in
because
with
I
us
didn't
while
have
we
Zoom
looked
muted.
at cards from this century or whatever decade, because I guess some of these cards are from this century. But we're back with more middle school action. I'm Nate, and that's Woodrow. How you doing?
All right, we're
Let me
pretty
just double
excited.
check
We've
my
got
sideboard really quick, make sure I'm not
we've got a matchup that promises to be pretty
starting with the
punishing,
wrong stuff in my
honestly.
deck.
We have two decks oriented
Sorry, I
around
just got off of
degenerate
work.
enchantments,
Oh no, you're good.
and we're being
I
told that they can hear the
played some games
players
the other day, so
through the Discord.
Actually, I'm gonna do that too.
And so on one side we've got Stasis. This card makes it to where there are no untap steps. The game really doesn't make a lot of sense when people's lands are Lotus Petals and their creatures are all Ball Lightnings. On the other side, we have Squirrel's Nest Earthcraft, which is a combo that at least kills very quickly. When you execute this combo, you'll get infinite squirrels, and then you'll swing over and poke your opponent to death. Tragically, the card Toski has not been printed in this format, so you can't, deck yourself by drawing a million cards at the same time.
Yeah, I think okay. So we should say that it's a couple of blue-green decks, right? And
the Stasis deck is mono blue, and then the Enchantress deck is blue green.
Oh, the Stasis deck is mono blue. Okay, I thought he had
mono blue. Stasis is keeping it real, just playing islands and passing the turn. Like that's
it would have been our third blue-green deck for the night. Actually, it looks like our Enchantress player is splashing white for Seal of Cleansing, which will actually be good against Stasis.
Yeah, the Enchantress player has some winners in their sideboard, but I feel like game one might be a little rough. I mean, they're only playing, at sorcery speed. The Stasis players has a lot of counter spells. Actually, this game's really weird. I just said that, but if the Enchantress player ever resolves anything, they might just win. Like if they resolve an Argothian Enchantress, the Stasis player could just get buried alive in all these extra cards very quickly.
Yeah, I'm already looking at the decks here, even though I have to turn my head to the side and seeing that the Stasis or our Enchantress player has a few dead cards in the opening game here because he's got 3 Elephant Grass and 1 Worship.
Creatures.
So those are just cantrips. Yeah, those are just cantrips for the
it's also worth noting that the Stasis win con, besides putting your opponent in the sleeper hold out of boredom, is actually some Black Vices, which when you have a bunch of Enchantress effects in play, Black Vice is very relevant.
Yeah, definitely.
You will always have 7 cards.
Yeah, I mean, this could get ugly. That's one of those things we're joking around on. It's going to take forever. But our Stasis player can really just sit back and pick and choose here. Because all they need to do is you're not muted, Rob. Oh wait, never mind. Right. I can hear you, but I don't think I can hear you. Anyway, they just play Black Vise and let their Enchantress player always have 7 cards in hand and just counter anything that kills them, like Squirrel Nest.
Right.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, that is a problem with the Enchantress deck, especially game one, is that there's not a lot of cards that actually win the game. You can actually let them draw a bunch of cards, but there's a very limited selection of cards that win the game. The question being, of course, does the Stasis player know that? Because sometimes the Enchantress decks have a bunch of different weird win conditions, so it'll be beholden on them to figure out what's important. Which is, the classic scenario when you're playing with counter spells. What do you fight about?
We've got a bunch of draw effects here with Argothian Enchantress and Enchantress's Presence. We've got 4 Wild Growth, 4 Fertile Ground, so some ramp, some serious ramp. Definitely have the ability to make infinite mana and people with Squirrel Nest.
All right, we're starting off Stasis, like I said, doing nothing, playing an island and passing the turn. So let's see if Enchantress can explode out with some quick green mana of some kind.
So you have my
also
coast.
Being on the draw really hurts. Okay, great. Get the quick green mana. Because like if you're on the play, then you can play an Argothian Enchantress and only have Force of Will be the problematic card. But now like both Counterspell and Force of Will are here to be into play against that. So it's unfortunate. You know, always want to be on the play. And what are we going to do, Stasis player? Do we have a standstill? We should leave up our mana. Yeah, that's right. Sorcery speed effects. Who does that? Never tap out.
Yeah, this is definitely.
All right. So if the Enchantress player is making a play, like they have 8 Enchantress effects. They have 4 Enchantress presence, 4 Gothian Enchantress. If they're playing something now, we've got to conclude they kept their hand because they have one of these effects. If you don't have one of those effects, I feel like you're probably supposed to pitch that hand. So let's see what they've got for us. They're going to run out something.
Gothian Enchantress. Oh, another wild growth.
Nope.
Okay.
More wild growth.
So now it's got
okay.
1 mana floating of some sort.
Got a bunch of mana. So this is interesting because I feel like maybe we were supposed to have held the wild growth.
Cloud of Fairies.
Oh, so we're gonna make a bunch of mana.
Yeah.
Okay. Lots of mana. What are we gonna do with it?
Our opponent is not choosing to counterspell. But the thing is, like, he probably just thinks that Dustin just thinks like I'll just counter whatever the payoff is for this.
Right,
So
right.
He's still got 1 mana floating.
Yeah, like right now there's just this like 1/1 creature and like some mana floating. There's nothing that we need to fight about yet. So now it's Enchantress presence. So now this is something
That's
to fight
gonna
about.
eat a
Like, oh yeah, I've got the
counterspell.
counterspell. Look, my opponent was thinking about having fun. That can't be allowed.
Seal of Cleansing.
Oh,
What?
Seal
Good.
of Cleansing in
This
the
is-
main deck.
Really nice sequencing by Jake.
All right,
If he
so,
knows his opponent's playing Stasis.
yeah, all of the sequencing heavily indicates that Jake like knew what Dustin was playing, because otherwise he would not like have Seal of Cleansing be the bait, be the spell the real spell, and you wouldn't run your other spell in. And this is still a pretty aggressive line. But Seal of Cleansing definitely gives you is like one of your most important cards. All right, and it looks like we might like force a will on this with some.
I mean, if your plan is to, Dustin also has Standstill, which is also really bad.
Oh,
Well,
right,
he's
so he's
pitching
pitching
the
the standstill.
Which maybe he's only got 2
Okay.
standstills. Maybe he drew both of them. But then he's going to be
Right.
playing
Well,
it into a
you
Cloud
can't
of
even
Fairies.
play the standstill now because, like, yeah, you just attacked 20 times with Cloud of Fairies. All right, Dustin doesn't even have another land, which is a little rough whenever you're playing mono blue control. You just want to make all your land drops until turn 7.
What an interesting match this is actually turning out to be. How many cards do we have on Dustin's side in hand? Maybe 3?
So 5. Yeah, he missed the land drop, so I think she'd have 4. All right, we're going
The
for
Sterling Grove, that's a tutor.
Sterling Grove. Yeah, this card's sweet. It stops people from targeting your enchantments. Not that, Dustin was going to do that anyway. And then, yeah, it lets you Enlighten Tutor something to the top. We always loved this when we had stuff like Solitary Confinement or Warship. You could just put people on the hard lock. All right, Dustin's thinking about lowering shields here. Like, if you're missing your land drops, you got to, but it's a little rough because if you lower shields, then they crack the Sterling Grove and go look for something. If you don't, then...
Well, what's he lower the shields for here? He's got a couple portents. He's got a couple... Impulse, he wouldn't do it there. He could have gone for Gush. And then
No, I think he was thinking about tapping one land. So I think it's Portent. He was thinking about portenting to like look for land.
Oh, but he wants to
right.
portent into that.
Yeah, all right. All right, so just play some more mana. So this is interesting because I feel like there's enough mana already on the Enchantress side. So maybe you might want to hold on to those mana enchantments for when you get an Enchantress presence or a Argothian Enchantress, so you have enchantments in your hand.
Yeah.
Another note for our viewers: we are playing with Mana Burn in this format. So if he had tapped the land with the 2 enchantments on it, he would have taken 2 points of Mana Burn damage. So it's better to tap the City of Brass if that's the decision.
Counterintuitive, but it is correct in this situation. This is going to be a classic screw beats flood situation, though.
Well, the problem is usually Screw does beat Flood because you start drawing and you draw out of it and your hand is all spells.
Yeah.
But Dustin's deck, he's playing mono blue. Mono blue is very poor at interacting with the board. And in fact, other than Stasis, once your opponent gets ahead on the board, he doesn't have any way to like come back. There's no Wrath of God or a bunch of Doom Blades in his deck. Fortunately for him, the most ahead on the board that we're going to see is like Cloud of Fairies. It's either going to be Cloud of Fairies or it's going to be like Squirrel's Nest killed you. So it's probably all right. It's probably. And so I'm pretty sure we impulse for land. All right, get all matched Mirage lands.
Is that what those are? Is that Mirage?
I thought they're Mirage.
I don't know. I can't see the thing.
Maybe they're Portal. I can't see either. I think they're Mirage.
No, it's got the tap symbol on it, so it's. I don't know when they stopped doing that. I think it might have been Urza Saga.
All right, I've made my bet. What's your set, buddy? Because I'm saying Mirage. Chat, sound off. What do you got? What do you got?
I can't see this set symbol. I don't know.
All right, this is the pop quiz hot shot.
Yeah, pop quiz.
All right, so we're cracking the Sterling Grove. We're gonna go get some sweet enchantments. Probably Enchantress's Presence. No, Words of Wind. Okay, wow. So yeah, we're gonna have to do.
Hold on, I gotta look this up. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so when your opponent is missing their land drops, Words of Wind is actually really good.
Next time you would draw a card this turn, each player returns a permanent they control to its owner's hand instead.
Yeah. So
this is a brutal card with
you have the Cloud of Fairies, and you can bounce the Cloud of Fairies and replay it and generate like a zillion mana with all your special lands that they're tapping for multiple mana here. Like you need some way to draw extra cards to really go off.
Do you just I would say, don't you counter anything that does anything? It's a 2-for-1 because of the Sterling Grove.
Right. It's a 2-for-1 because of Grove, and then also just like forcing Dustin to bounce permanents is very powerful because he only has lands in play. So you're just like casting Stone Rain every time he gets this effect.
You are right about it being the Mirage Islands, by the way. I guess it looks snowy to me, which kind of threw me off, but they
that's
Type
right.
Island Set Mirage. Yep, found it.
All right, so we double lock. We got these Cloud Fairies. They're just flying overhead, coming into the red zone for all the damage.
It's not the Ice Age Island. I thought I knew it wasn't the Ice Age Island, but I didn't seem right that it was Mirage.
Mirage has a certain style. Yeah,
it looks icy. It does look
Jake's not
icy. And there's a Mirage or an Ice Age Island. Wait, is something happening? Oh, they got 2 Cloud Fairies. Okay.
What's happening is we're attacking for 2 damage with Cloud Fairies, which is what passes for excitement in this
we
match.
We don't have Dustin's life total, unfortunately.
That's okay.
So hopefully, I should
we're playing another Sterling Grove to stop people from disenchanting our wild growths. Clearly, that was a concern.
Oh, he's just gonna use it. Yeah.
All right, and we're just.
What if he plays into a portent?
Ooh.
Could you imagine getting portent
would
on
mess
their
this
turn?
up.
Unless he's got a way to draw a card right now, but I don't know that he does. Seal of Cleansing.
Wow. All right, yeah.
Here comes
Dustin's
the impulse.
like, I can't allow the seal of
Find a
cleansing.
portent.
We got to do something about this.
Well, he's not getting it until next turn. So.
Well, still, seal of cleansing really causes problems. All right, but impulse. So there's no brainstorm in this format. So portent and impulse are kind of like some of the best selection cards that are available to the players. Those of us who are lovers of blue dirtily magic, like myself. And then the other thing is so what are we doing? Are we going for Stasis?
Yes.
Okay, so if he's got Counterspell or Force of Will, he can just stop the...
Especially if it's thwart. But I think that, he's just going to make him tap out.
Right, so if Dustin doesn't have Gush or Forsaken Wastes, then the Stasis just is exhaustion for 2 turns and then it goes away. So yeah, Jake is basically calling Dustin's bluff. He's like, show me something, because by itself this is not a lock.
I was gonna Chain of Vapor.
He's gonna bounce the Stasis back to his hand. All right, that's fine. That's fine. So the locks need to go on longer, but this is not an indefinite lock. Like Dustin needs some other resource to make this work. All right, Stasis is back. Nothing's going on.
The question is, what? I wonder at what point Jake decides that I'm just gonna go to game 2 here.
Well,
and Borden City of Solitude. Like
I
how
mean,
many
yeah,
elephant grasses are in his hand?
all right.
Enchantress's presence.
Whoa. Yeah, interesting. Because like you can, if you're Dustin, you can, if you think you can hold on to the stasis lock, you can just let them have the Enchantress's presence because who cares how many extra cards they draw, like if they don't have any mana. So I'm interested here in what decision Dustin decides to make. All right, so he's decided to let it happen, and as usual, we're still in the situation where the stasis lock. Dustin needs one more piece to make it work.
Well, like Black Vise isn't going to do it here. That's what he's got. I think that's what's about to
yeah,
come down. Yep,
Black
there
Vise,
it is.
nothing
Black
doing.
Vise isn't going to do it here.
Yeah,
But
we've been playing all our
well,
stuff.
actually, you know, if you keep him locked down, he draws a card off that Enchantress's presence.
Right, but the problem is like the stasis lock just won't hold. Like in,
Well, does he have another Chain of Vapor in hand, or like
yeah,
you know, he can
Gush.
chain. He could have a second one. He could have a. He's got 4 Chain of Vapor main deck. That's not looking good. He could chain and then bounce. I guess you don't want to bounce anything.
All you want to bounce is the stasis, so you can. Nope. Okay, so
Ooh.
this is it. Dustin needs to have Gush or Forsaken Waste.
Ooh,
All
one more turn.
You know the sweats
One more
continue.
turn. But even then, one more turn is not going to help.
Yeah,
Unless
one more turn.
He has to draw literal Forsaken Wastes. The 4th edition Black Vice, 4th edition Stasis, Mirage Island. This is exactly what I played against in middle school. Like, not even kidding.
All right, so Jake, as usual, is just calling. Is like, what do you have? Nothing. We're gonna tap this out. We're Stone Rainer on Lance. That's what we have.
Gosh.
Gosh. Okay, so this is the noose is tightening.
So yeah, he's gonna get to play his island. He's got at least 2 more turns of this now. Oh, he was discarding the hand size?
We have to discard. Yeah, when you bounce a bunch of lands back to your hand, that happens.
Taking one.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be drawing lands.
All right, land. So this is
So he's going to
more
go
or
to
less
12. Yep.
where Dustin wants to be. He's got the board locked with Stasis. He's got his WinCon and Black Bison to play.
If he has a thwart, I mean...
Yeah, he just wants the game to stay looking like this for as long as possible.
Which doesn't need to be that long. I mean, Jake has 5 cards in hand, and whatever he plays is going to trigger that Enchantress's presence anyway.
Yes. So I feel like Jake is kind of finessed into going for the Seal of Cleansing.
Yeah, you just got to try it. Oh, Cloud of Fairies. Oh,
Cloud of Fairies is pretty good because it'll untap 2 lands.
But I mean, no chance. Oh, yep.
Thwart.
There's our thwart.
Okay.
See if Phil's still in chat. Phil is not in chat that I can see. My friend Phil loves thwart, playing it in Miracles and Legacy currently.
What a maniac.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
What a maniac.
You know, you could bring him back to Mystic Sanctuary. This is pretty rough, though.
Yeah. So now we need to peel.
At least he got the
Runner,
card out of
land.
his hand, though. He only has 4 cards in hand.
Yeah, but we need Runner land and our Seal of Cleansing to resolve. So
just discarding a counterspell, which is what you love to see.
Well,
discarding an island.
Barring like a Forsaken Waste, Dustin is never going to have mana to cast counterspell because he's going to play. He's going to lose a land and play a land like every turn until Forsaken Waste shows up. So yeah, we didn't draw a land. That was step 1. Was somehow draw a land. Elder Spirit Guide.
Wild Growth.
Trigger. So we're gonna draw, just trying to find.
But it gets him to 3 cards in hand.
All right, we found a land that's like a big part of it. So runner land. Pretty sure that Dustin will have like Force of Will here, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't have it. Dun 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 dun. Blue control mage. All these cards in hand. Anything's possible. All right, we got a land. So do we just go for it now? I feel like we do. At this point, we know that the lock's going to last for a while. We don't really feel the need. Why do we think things will get better if we wait? Especially because the Seal of Cleansing is known information. Like if there's some way you could trick Dustin, but Dustin knows. All right, we're casting
Exploration trigger.
Interesting. So you can play multiple lands, but we know that as of right now, we've only got one land. So, yeah, I don't. Once again, if you're Dustin, I don't think that this is something you want to fight over. You can just let him draw all these cards since they won't have any mana because of the stasis.
Yeah, he's only get to play one other land. What's the Sarah's Sanctum? And he, he just let it resolve. Okay.
Yeah, just let that go. Okay.
It was close.
The
enchantments aren't tapped. He could untap his enchantments.
Yeah, whatever.
City
All
of
right, so you're going to play our second land. Yeah. Pass. Yeah, just...
What do we got?
All right, so maybe he's trying to see if the stasis will go away on its own.
Nope. Ouch. Can wait till the last minute all the time, though, Dustin can. His hand is just full of counter spells. This is great. This is great stuff. Like, what do you say?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't want to tell him to, like, go to scoop, but, you know. But like you got it.
I mean, we saw some people flood out earlier. It's possible Dustin's hand is all lands.
But then he just stasis
on the stream.
Then he just stays in stasis.
Yeah.
This is the 4-0 matchup, by the way. Both these players.
Oh yeah,
are 4-0.
yeah. But these decks are undefeated. All right, we're playing something else. Oh, we're Wild growth. Okay, sure. Get some green mana.
Draw.
Jake thinks he can overwhelm Dustin somehow by playing multiple spells in a turn.
But he does have a Sarah's Sanctum. If he hits that Sarah's Sanctum.
Okay, so you play Sarah's Sanctum, and then you could play, because he has a Seal of Cleansing in his hand. He also has an Aura of Silence, which is basically a souped up Seal of Cleansing in his deck that maybe he's drawn. So if he hits that, he could like play them both in one turn and try and power through the counter magic. Because we're operating on the assumption that Dustin only has like one free counter spell and not two.
He can attack with that, by the way.
Yes,
yeah,
he can attack with
he's got to make it
0/1 creature.
20.
All right, or the stasis could just go away. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
All right, no, we're just gonna cast Gush. That's
gush.
what we're going to do.
Yep.
All right, so I mean, our opponent's gonna move to discard. I haven't been keeping count, so I'm not sure who will deck first, but I'm pretty sure the Black Vice will kill before deck out is an issue. I don't know. Jake's managing his hand pretty well.
Yeah, but now he's got two enchantment triggers.
Enchantress effects.
Yeah, like he's got it out of his hand. He's just kind of hoping it was going to work. It was going to bring him through, but now... Again, your lands or enchantments are not technically tapped.
That's technically correct. The best kind of correct.
It's impossible to not tap the enchantment or the equipment. You know what I mean? It's like impossible to not do it. Like you just have to do it.
All right. Yep. Dustin's got another island.
I mean, if you've ever been serious about, or if you've ever been like curious about what was it like to play against Stasis, this is the experience.
Yeah.
This is the experience. Like you're like, oh, I'll get out of it. Nope. Not having that.
Just got the stranglehold on.
Because on this turn, he'll gush again, or he'll have another island and chain of vapor.
Wow. I mean, it's like, I think maybe the tech for the Stasis Mirror is like your own Black Vice, because Dustin would have just died.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's why Black Vice was the thing you played against these decks.
Play Black Vice, cost 1 mana, you just never have to do anything because the Stasis player will kill themselves.
That's why people, if you didn't play against Black Vice, you just played, what's it called? Disenchant in your deck. Jake's deck is pretty thin. It's pretty thin there. He might be behind on library. He might be behind on life. Well, he's definitely behind on life because it's 7. There is an Earthcraft.
So now we can tap the Enchantress to untap some stuff. All right, thwart.
Yeah, but that's gonna get thwarted.
Okay, but we
he
still
hasn't
get to
got-
draw. We're gonna draw a
Draws
bunch
two.
of cards, and we still have the Seal of Cleansing just lurking around.
6 cards in hand though.
It's interesting. Like, if we let the Earthcraft resolve, then we tap the. I have to make sure I understand. How
Well, that
Earthcraft
Plains
works.
has a Fertile Ground and 2 Wild Growths on it, so because he would untap target basic land.
Yeah, so it's still like a one-use effect. You just get to tap the Enchantress to untap the Plains with a bunch of stuff on it.
And then you try and force your thing through that's not going to get through. I mean,
Yeah.
look at this. Discarding is that a 5th edition Stasis? This card made it to 5th edition, which I think is amazing. Was it in 6th edition? I bet it was the 6th edition.
I think it was. All right, so Dustin's up to 7, I think. So we're going to start
it
taking
was
some
not in
damage.
6th edition. It was not in 6th edition.
Okay.
It was in 5th.
All right. Dustin is going to die to Black Vice unless he does something exciting this turn. And by exciting, we mean pick up our cards and go play some other game.
Ooh, well,
all right, guys.
So who was on the play in that game?
It was Dustin, which was a big deal because he got to counterspell the turn 2 Enchantress's presence. So Jake gets to be on the play, and his deck gets noticeably better. His sideboard is prepared. He's has 3 more disenchant effects, 2 more Seals of Cleansing, 1 Aura of Silence, and 3 City of Solitude, which basically says counterspells don't work when this card is in play. And so he has like 6 cards that are very, very relevant against Dustin's deck.
Does he have 6 clean cards to take out?
Well, I'm sure he does.
Seal of Removal, Worship, 3 Elephant Grass.
There we go. We did it.
Yeah,
We did
that's
it.
5. And then you just take something else out. Like you take out a
I think there's like 2 Seals of Removal, so I think that's just like a clean swap. Because
no, the other thing's a Words of Wind.
Oh, okay.
Which I
okay,
think he
so-
still wants, right? I've never played Enchantress.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You take Worship, Seal, and probably like a Fertile Ground or an Elvish Spirit Guide or something like that. So yeah, he's got a lot to work with. Dustin, on the other hand, his deck is going to stay more or less the same. I don't think he has any hibernations or anything really exciting like that. Let me double check.
No. He has, I would say, he's got 2 Annul.
Yeah, he's got 2 Annul.
And a Powder. No, Powder Cake doesn't work. Okay.
Well, Powder Cake blows up all of the squirrels. Like if your opponent makes infinite squirrels in Powder Cake,
Yeah, that's
play.
true. That's true.
That's kind of thin. Also, you can Powder Keg away the Argothian Enchantress. I don't know if that's worth bringing in, but Dustin is noticeably lighter on things to bring in. He doesn't have like a sideboard juke plan, like some Morphlings or something like that. He's going to be vulnerable to all of these disenchant effects, and this deck is fundamentally about countering a bunch of stuff. So City of Solitudes will be good too.
Yeah, sorry. If he reads the City of Solitude, which he very well might, I think that Annul's coming in for at least 1 misdirection is going to be replaced by Annul, and maybe he would just cut the other powder. He has a main deck Powder Keg.
Yeah,
just cut it.
You definitely bring in the Annuls. Like your opponent's deck is oriented around enchantments. You have a card.
That's true. I guess even if he doesn't, he doesn't need to read. It's not like City of Solitude coming out of the rock where you don't know.
So yeah, but yeah, he has these 2 Annuls and not much else that maybe this Powder Keg. There's not a lot else going on here. So I think that in game 2, Jake's deck really being on the play and his sideboard options, I feel like he should take game 2. I think game 3 is like more coin flippy, but I feel like Jake might take both of these sideboard games because his deck has a lot of like must counter very powerful cards, and a lot of cards that are very relevant, especially post forward.
Well, let's look again at this counterspell configuration. 2 Annul, 3 Thwart, 4 Counterspell, 4 Force of Will. So 2, 4, 10, or 2, 6, 10, 13 counterspells. You're not going to have them all in your hand. And, one of them is going to make you, or 4 of them are going to make you pitch other blue cards. And you can only get him so many times. And among his bucks, what did we count up to? He's got 6 things that killed enchantment and 3 City Solitude post board. Like that is a lot. Like he could blast right through, and he could just win like otherwise. Plus, he's going to be drawing cards, and Dustin's going to be losing cards, going down 1-1 or 2-1. But
Yeah, I feel like Jake has some good tools here. And I'm sure, people in the chat would like to see something happen other than nothing, which is what happens when Stasis is winning. It's just like the card.
Well, I
nullified.
admire Jake for sticking out a little bit because they are 4-0. I mean,
Yeah.
But he was pretty dead once that chain of vapor bounces Stasis the first time. Like, you're pretty screwed. Once your opponent gets to untap and then replay Stasis, like, you're in a lot of trouble. Untap everything and replay Stasis, like, you can't really, hope to get around that. You guys are arguing with Andrew.
We found the Stasis player in the chat, or someone rooting for Stasis who's clearly, not feeling well, possibly.
Andrew never plays a third turn that he plays. Never plays a third or fourth turn in the
Andrew's
league.
The guy
So
always playing combo. So it's strange that he's not rooting for the sweet Enchantress combo deck that makes a bunch of mana and draws a bunch of cards.
And then makes like enough tap squirrels to.
Yeah, it makes an infinite amount of squirrels.
See, if you're playing Enchantress, you're playing that combo. You should just play Goblin Bombardment.
Put in the third. You don't need the third color to win.
No, I know, but you don't really. But you could do it into a powder keg.
I mean, once you're splashing in the third color, really, you should go with Words of War and like blaze your opponent out with Words of War. I think.
Right, we've got a City of Brass enchanted by a Wild Growth against a Mulligan.
Oof. So that's the interesting thing. Like, if Jake draws too many of these like Wild Growth effects, the games are pretty slow. So he doesn't need to be very quick. He doesn't need that much ramp. To get ahead of his opponent.
Tormod's Crypt.
All right, so this implies
heavily respecting.
Yeah, he's worried about
replenish.
Which we're not even sure if Jake brought in.
So it's a 7-card hand. He has 4 cards back, and he's not going to play annul this turn. I'm telling you, I think Jake, if he has a card here that
come on,
does
buddy.
anything,
let's
taking
see it.
one. He got a City of Solitude.
Oof.
Got a 4. It's force or bust.
All right, so okay, so the Jet F6 button has been put into the game. When it's your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot cast spells that cannot activate abilities. They cannot do anything.
And he's going to go down a card every turn.
All right, so we have jammed. So Dustin, on the other hand, he's got a plan. He's like, I'm just going to turbo out Stasis. So this is how you beat the City of Solitude. Every turn with Forsaken Waste, he can untap by exiling a card from his hand. He's got Jake in the hard lock, and he's got his win condition out. So this could be all you need. Jake could never play another spell because he's just like,
jeez, I would have thought. I was not expecting this to go that way.
Well, I mean, it's not. What is going on?
He's just not untapping the Forsaken City.
Okay.
He's just exiling his cards.
So the thing is, eventually Jake is going to get out of this. He just has to do it before the Black Vice kills him. Yeah. Because if he ever draws white mana, Seal of Cleansing, nothing is stopping Dustin. Dustin can't counter anything.
That's
because
true.
of the City of Solitude. So this is kind of just like we could.
Black Vice, he doesn't. I'm going to be extremely not miffed, but like boy, it's going to kind of suck to just watch if he just gets bled dry here. He's at 9.
Yeah, this is it. We get 3 turns, guys.
The first game took 35 minutes. There's the City of Brass.
Okay, all right. So go if you have Seal of Cleansing, you just play it now because
Well,
there's nothing your opponent can do. You have the City of Solitude. So,
by the way, notable that City of Solitude is going to go for Wild Growth and then play this. It looks like,
just no reason not to play it. So he just wanted to play the Wild Growth to get a card out of his hand.
He got an extra card out of his hands. Going to go 7 next turn.
Right,
he's at an effective 6 with that City of Brass.
Yeah, oof. So that didn't really make as big a difference because of how. All right, a land. All right,
that's 6.
All right, yeah, it's time to play Aura of Silence. Like, if we're cracking this, like, play Aura of Silence, blow up Stasis. Because once we, so we're not getting white mana. So what is going on? We're just gonna
we just have a lot of life to play with here.
Yeah, woof. Woof.
And he's got
What
6
is
cards
happening?
in hand before this,
Take
taking one down to 5.
What is happening?
Fertile ground.
Fertile ground. Okay.
You got white? You got white in there? Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going. Maybe his plan is to just go as low as he can go.
No, I feel like he just doesn't have it, and he's trying to just get cards out of his hand as quickly as possible. Like nothing else really makes sense to me. Gross. All right, so
Second vice would be just absolute.
So we need it. Show me a land. All right, that's part of the solution.
Well, he's got. What'd you say? We got
So we
3
got 4
seal cleansing, 4 aura sounds. They're both live because he's got fertile
like
ground. I cannot believe that that's going to be how this goes. Gosh.
Also, the fact that Dustin pitched a force of will to his Forsaken Waste implies that there's. Well, it doesn't matter. Never mind. I'm sorry. There's City of Solitude.
Yeah, the City of Solitude's in play.
Yeah, nothing's really going on here. We're all just hanging out, playing Yu-Gi-Oh or some game where you can't interact on your opponent's turn.
Legacy. It's a fairy.
Right. Yeah.
Another vice.
Ooh.
That wins. Does he got it?
No, he's at 4.
Oh, he's got a portent. Oh my
14.
god! But he can portent him.
Yes, I believe that is something we would want to do.
We're gonna see. We're gonna get to see it, and he's not gonna get to.
All right. So none of these cards blow up Stasis. So you just leave them there. You just leave. In a turn.
That's an earth. Is that an Earthcraft?
Yeah, it's Earthcraft, Forest.
Sterling Grove and Forest.
Yeah.
The Give the Forest.
So I would have put like Earthcraft on top because he has
he
no
would have had
creatures.
to tap. He would have had to
And
tap.
then the Forest lets him get a card out of his hand. But yeah, you put the Sterling Grove on the bottom, and then he's just like not doing anything.
I don't know if he can win.
I don't think so either. He's gonna play the Forest.
Play the Forest.
And then the Earthcraft like taxes his mana because he has to, not the Earthcraft, the Sterling Grove. He'll play the Sterling Grove and sack it, and he won't have the mana to play the Disenchant effect. So hey guys, Stasis is a very powerful effect. And
I just
your opponent from
looked
playing
over
the
at the stream at like me, like just looking horrified, and you got this blue mage smile. Down to 2. What do we got? We got an Aura of Silence. So he's at 2. I mean, he's got what do you got in hand now? Is he down to 4? If he's down to 4, you can just
Okay, so we're playing this
no, he's got to do it now. So
Yeah.
you cannot activate abilities during your opponent's turn.
That is correct. We'll see if they catch
So
that.
he's
'cause
got to
that's like a
do it.
weird
He's
part
got to
of-
do it. Please don't not do it.
Well, the problem is if he can he blow up if he blows up the Stasis, will he live through his turn? And I think there's Black Vice is each card over 4, right?
Yeah,
So
he's not,
he would
he's
go
not
to
dead
1.
yet.
So you have to blow
Yeah,
up
but you
Stasis
can't
now.
untap. He's gonna just the problem is he's letting him untap. He's letting
Well,
Dustin
no.
untap. Wow, he's
it's
went for the Vice?
Ooh, interesting.
See, that doesn't seem right. I guess he's like just makes him discard a bunch of cards. But he doesn't know. It's a 2.
Well,
See, this I thought about that when I thought what happens if he gets what he's in play and you just go for the Vice. The problem is he just loses to another Vice.
yeah, another Vice is problematic.
Because he's got the land in hand. And you know that he's got the land in hand.
Well, just with the Forsaken Waste, I think that would allow him to play another Vice.
No, because you can only untap Forsaken Waste in your upkeep. So
So
he can't just like untap the side to untap it after he draws. But right now, that's what I'm saying. He has the island.
Yeah,
And what are you worried about? Let him untap. Like
if you think he has like a second Stasis, basically. So here we are hanging out under Stasis, but without the Black Vice, Dustin does have the inevitability. Not Dustin, Jake. Dustin will be hemorrhaging cards. Most of Dustin's cards don't have text. Like without Black Vice, Jake can just wait to draw another disenchant effect.
there are
and
3
he'll be
Black
fine.
Vices, so we should say that. If he
Yeah.
knows the list, which he might, I can't say they don't. They didn't talk about it at all.
This hasn't been the first. So, I mean, if you watched the stream when Dustin was first featured, the fact that only 3 Black Vices were on the list was discussed.
Oh, gosh.
All right, Josh. Sure. Dustin's only live draw. I mean, I guess if he has like a Chain of Vapor, he could Chain of Vapor the City of Solitude. But his live draw is, more Black Vice. He's just looking for that. And at this point, Black Vice is instantly lethal because I think Jake has more cards in hand than
Well, we know he can play an Earthcraft right now if he wants to.
Don't do anything. Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but if he just like I'll play the Earthcraft now, and then if I draw 2 lands and an Argothian Enchantress, I can untap.
I guess.
But
I think I would save my mana for some other reason.
Yeah. I believe it's 3 seal, 3 aura.
Yeah, something like that. It was a total of 6 like disenchant effects. Like he had a lot of live cards.
Jake is so prepared for Enchantress. I feel like they must have worked on their decks together.
Well, so we talked about there being no planeswalkers. So that means actually a lot of the obnoxious effects in the format are in fact enchantments or artifacts. So it's not unreasonable. Like disenchant / naturalize effects are very good in this format. So it's not unreasonable to have some sort of answers to these effects. All right, moving to discard, keeping it honest.
Dude, ditches an Enchantress's presence.
Sure, why not? We can't play any spells anyway. What's the point of drawing cards? All right. Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. Gets another basic land with enchantment on it. The Sarah Sanctum is really.
Sarah Sanctum would be great.
That's what he needs.
Possible that he has the white cards and they're just like stuck in his hand for no white.
Well, it's not even the white cards. It's that he'll be able to make a bunch of mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the in one turn, and he's got 2 green on top of that because he's got a wild growth on a forest. So.
All right. So we're untapping a bunch of Forsaken Ways.
Which leads you to believe he's got a bunch of islands in his hand.
Yeah, that's interesting. But what?
He just doesn't need the cards. That's all.
Yeah.
Why not? Might as well.
I'm casting like Impulse or Portent. Chain of Vapor. All right. Ooh.
On the City of Solitude.
Yeah. Well, can't do anything about that. What's going on?
He's going to sacrifice it to balance the Stasis.
Wait, what's going on?
So because,
Okay. Okay. But why did the okay.
Jake sacrificed City of Solitude.
Yeah, we can make our own copy.
And now Dustin's going to bounce something of his, which can only be a non-land permanent. So it's going to be probably Fertile Ground. Well, he's going to he's taking it off his untapped island. Or force is pretty good. And then you slam the Stasis back down. Do you want to bounce a Tormod's Crypt? I don't think you do.
No, I mean, no, you can bounce any permanent. You can bounce your own permanents.
That's right. So he could bounce a Wild Growth.
Yeah, I don't see any advantage to doing so. I think.
And here comes Stasis again.
All right. So at this point, it's hard to believe that Dustin wouldn't have a Force of Will plus blue card in his hand. So I feel like the game's kind of locked up because Jake is only going to play one more spell. It'll be Force of Willed. and then, unless like Black Lotus, even now, if the bottom 2 cards of the library were Black Lotus, then what are we doing here? Are we spirit guiding? What is this? Are we just discarding a bunch of cards?
Yeah, he's discarding a bunch of cards. Yeah, Fertile Ground, Earthcraft.
Unless Dustin cited out a Black Vice and his bottom card of his library is Black Vice. Even then, because Black Vice only needs to go through one upkeep to like kill Jake. So I think Jake is just dead.
Yeah, he just needs to find that second Vice.
Yeah.
Looks like it's not here. Okay. Now, are you portenting him? No, he's portenting himself.
Yeah. He's
Looking
like,
for
oh my
that
God.
Vice. Gotta find the Vice. Let's get out of here. I want to go to bed. He was saying he's tired. He had a long day at work.
Resolving portent over stream is too much work on my opponent. I'll just do it on myself.
Okay. Draws a card.
Woof.
Exile
Right,
Elvish
yeah,
Spirit
we'll
Guide.
Oh, are we doing
Wild
something?
Growth.
Or, sure. Wild growth.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Black Vice instantly lethal.
Do you have it? Forsaken
Right.
City.
Yeah.
Tapping
That's
it, Black Vice.
GG.
That's games.
GG.
Wow.
All right. Well, yeah, we had some kind of anticlimactic games. We had the Turbo Oath deck just kind of get beat up by some treetop villages, and we had the
Black Vice trigger on the status. That's what you can do. Oh, you can
he's gonna-
cycle
end of turn. He's going to cycle,
Cloud Affairs.
but there's like no outs.
Yeah. I do want to say that I think Jake played that match, as well as he could. Like that was like you were saying, his deck is all sorceries against a deck that's all counter spells. And he got the City of Solitude into play, and then the Stasis, he just managed to ride it out.
Yeah,
I wonder how long he had the Aura of Silence for, but
Stasis, like in their opening hand, had the 2-card combo of Stasis plus Forsaken Waste. So usually that won't happen like right away. But it did, and then that was kind of it. There's a lot of posturing, there's a lot of bait, but yeah, you just got stone rained out of the game basically by Armageddon Forever with Stasis.
yeah, I think
just did it.
I don't know about the Aura of Silence on the Vice. Like, you guys are just kind of playing to make sure he doesn't have the second Stasis.
Yeah,
But-
I don't think that. Yeah, I might have been inclined to blow up the Stasis and just hope to get to an untap step, because I feel like if Jake had ever untapped, he'd have like won the game on the spot.
Yeah,
'Cause
right.
there's no way his hand wasn't just positively insane.
Because he had just as big a chance of having the second Vice as he had a slightly lower chance of having the second Vice as he did of having the second Stasis.
Yeah, but having the Stasis in play gives Dustin a lot of time to find the second Vice, which is what happened.
Yeah.
So
And it's only 1 mana, so
yeah, I
Yeah.
might have been inclined to try and blow up the Stasis there.
I thought that was actually a very well played match by both players. That even though Jake, it doesn't seem like it was very close. I still think he played very well, and I thought Dustin. There were times when I even was like, I don't know why he's doing that. Then he would do something, and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. I see what.
Yeah,
he's doing.
yeah. In game one, I mostly agreed with Jake's patience. Like, he wanted to wait out the Stasis. Like, there's no reason to fight about it. But once Dustin started catching the gushes, then you can't really wait out Stasis anymore, and he just got kind of locked. Which is that's how Stasis works. When your opponent plays these weird symmetric effects like Horn of Greed or Stasis, you can bet that their deck is built in such a way that the symmetric effect is going to benefit them more than you, and that's kind of what happened there.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll be back next Thursday. This will be the final
Thursday.
round of Swiss.
So does this make Dustin the only undefeated player? Like 1 in 32 will be undefeated. So I think we had more than 32 players. We had like 40 or something. So there might be another undefeated player, but at this point, Dustin is locked for top 8. When you turn in 2 weeks from now, there's going to be Stasis. There's going to be people, getting some comfortable chairs out to play in the top 8. This could be just the biggest troll of middle school right here. Instead of being this awesome format of sweet spells, it's this terrible place where people give you wedgies and like Stasis shows up and just like steps on takes your lunch money or
I'm
something.
just looking at my deck. I mean, I'm not going to make top 8. I must be 2 and 3 then. I think I'm 2 and 3, not 2 and 2. I got three Pyroblasts, and I got 2 Naturalizes, I got 2 City Solitudes. If only I had come up against Stasis. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Hold it
don't
off.
know the exact metagame numbers, but Stasis is really like the last time I saw Stasis, he was playing against like Panda Burst, where the Panda Burst needs to resolve a 4-mana sorcery to win the game, so it's very hard to beat a deck full of counter spells. I don't know how much like straight aggro is in the format. Like I feel like a straight aggro deck with a few Pyroblast in the sideboard and like Fire Blast would probably give Stasis the business.
Yeah, like a Sly deck, which I don't know. I haven't seen it in this. I'm sure there's usually at least one person playing it. Yeah, usually Stu's playing it plus one person.
But if everybody is playing, and the other thing that could possibly give Stasis the business would be, like a pure control deck with with its own counter spells and its own standstills. Like I feel like Landstill would be pretty good here because you're the better standstill deck. And you're pretty well equipped to fight over Stasis. Like at some point, the Stasis player has to like play the Stasis out.
Or other decks that are playing Vice. Other decks that are playing Vice.
Music to my ears. I'm hearing that the mono red players are all in the losers bracket, and I have to say, if we're gonna win, I'd rather be the ice cold death grip of control choking the life out of the game than some dorks with jackal pups. I mean, come on, guys, grow up. The format's middle school, but you're not supposed to play like you're in middle school. Step your game up. Respect Stasis.
On that note, I think we should close out for the night.
All right.
Thanks, Woodrow. And thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next Thursday.